This is not the Forest of Dean. This is a more local woodland, so I won't be disclosing the name of where I am today, just because it's not a large enough place to host many people at all. There's a few deer knocking about that I saw a mountain biker off in the distance earlier. I'm a few hundred meters from a path that way, and that way is just conifer forest, just plantation, as far as the eye can see really. And there's a lot of bracken, this fern looking stuff out this year. There's also a lot of these brambles. Not a lot of nettle this year, which is actually quite nice to see, because nettle shows up when there's been phosphoric activity. I wanted to talk to you about something today, but first, what I've got here is a bottle of river water from the River Arun, and on top here I've got a life straw, which is a little device that I got, right? It cost me £30, and this thing is a straw, and it weighs next to nothing. I'm not sponsored by them, by the way. I really wish I was, but I'm not. I just wanted to kind of show you because I really like it. It filters out like 99.9% of bacteria and microplastics and parasites, like sand and dirt and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty decent, and it makes your water taste really nice. Good shit. Last night I arrived here. I set up a camp and I just relaxed, because that's the best thing to do when you're out here, is just set up a bed, know you've got a place to sleep, and then just relax, because there is nothing that matters anymore. And just for the period that you're amongst the trees and the plants, you kind of lose the fear of everyday life in a sense. And it's nice, it is really, really nice. And it's nice to control that, it's nice to not have to be reliant on certain other factors, like other people or money. You know, if you have a tent and you have a bike, you can do what you want really. I really enjoy it, because this morning I woke up and I was here, and right now it's only about 6 in the morning. And it's just really, really nice to be out here in the morning when the birds have woken up and the sun is hitting from the east. It's just quite nice, and the robins are awake, obviously. What I wanted to talk about was fires. So I got here last night and I wanted to set up a fire because I have a pot of like a porridge thing with me. You know, you pour boiling water in it, and I wanted to make up a fire so I can have that and cook. And oh my god, what the fuck is that? I'm sorry, is that a dragonfly? There's just a massive fucking creature with a... What the fuck? It's so big, man. What the fuck? I was so scared. It's such a wide angle lens. Can you see that? On the log. It's like a big fucking fly, dragonfly, cranefly looking thing. Look at it. You must see that, surely. Ah, it flew off. This is you. You're actually attached to this tree over here. Tent, that's where I slept, in that fucking body bag. And my bike is over here. And it's come off a little bit, but I threw this camouflage netting over it. It should really be over there. I think the wind blew it off in the night. You over here are attached to a tree with questionable security measures. So I was going to make the fire here. But I was just sat there questioning it last night for quite a while, because I just could not figure out if it was a good idea or not, if it was safe enough to, if it was too compact, if there were bits that were too dry, and then barriers of wetness which can create like a bed, you know, of a fire, or if there's like too many plants, or just those kind of factors. And I just didn't fancy it. If you do have a fire, do dig a pit, dig a hole next to the pit, in a fashion of like fire pit here, and then small hole here, and then dig, and then dig, and then meet underground, and then just make a tunnel for an air ventilation, so the air rushes in the vent, and then comes up from the bottom of the fire and fans it for you. You can make like 2 or 3 of those if you want, and then you can just have this like running network of ventilation, and it keeps the fire underground, it keeps it safe, it keeps it safer for you because it's less open flame, it keeps it hotter, it keeps it cooking, burning for longer. It means you can put a grill or something over the flame. It makes it easier to light because it's in a wind protected area, and afterwards you can just fill the earth back in. And if you can do it, if you do it carefully, if you do it properly, if you do it in an area where there's even grass, you can just dig up and strip the top layer of the grass, put it to the side, dig the hole, then later on just layer it on. If you can't do that, then at least layer on some dead vegetation or something, or like, you know, right here it's just needles, you know, conifer needles. So there's no actual living plants in this bit apart from some moss and some brambles here. Tiny little holly bush there, well, it's one stem, so it's just a holly tree, I suppose. This is rotten wood, which is okay to burn, but this has got quite a bit of moss in it, so I wouldn't burn that, because it's got a living, you know, it's got a fair amount of living organism on it, and moss takes a long time to grow. It has a long life cycle, lifespan even. These kind of sticks here, this is dead wood, but this is dead wood that's not long come off. It'll be one of the branches of one of these spruce here, see, like just like that, but that should just snap nice. Yeah, see, because it's dry and it's not alive. If a branch is alive, it will snap and it will be fibrous and it will be green inside, and you'll have to kind of like rip it. It'll be like celery almost, you know. But this is good wood. I'm not actually going to burn this. I'm just showing you for the purpose of the video. But in essence, they are the best things to get. If you're in a conifer forest like this, I would highly recommend just burning these. These lower branches, the tree doesn't need them anymore. The leaves have all died off. These aren't ever going to have leaves again, because the way conifers grow is they just move their leaves upwards with the tree. So the reason that I wanted to make this video is because basically I've made some content now that features me essentially promoting wild camping, and whilst I haven't necessarily tried to promote it, to some people it's come across that way. So I'm making this video essentially just to kind of cover my ass, because I don't want people assuming that I'm like being destructive or degrading. If I'm doing something wrong, if I'm harming the landscape in my practices, then please tell me. Like I want to not harm the landscape. The reason I do this this wild camping is because it really strips down the necessities of life for me. When you can have a night or 2 or 3 or 4 where you're just basically all that you need to worry about is water, shelter, food, heat. That's really it. And when your brain is occupied with those four worries, it's at its most efficient and it's at its most like natural and relaxed and healthy. When you drink from the rivers, when you make tea from the nettles, and when you use the shelter and the shade provided by the trees, and when you eat the berries, it all just comes together, and you all just really, it really puts in a sense how much nature gives to us and how much we owe to nature. So get out there, man, like it's really fun. I got my tent, it's an Alp kit Elan, cost about 120 quid. Fucking great. It's a bit claustrophobic, but other than that, it's perfect. Weighs less than a kilogram, absolutely tiny, really just blends in with the green colour. It blends into any environment. And I just have put all my shit either in a big backpack, or I have this like pannier bag thing on the back of my bike. I kept seeing deer last night. They kind of, in a magical way, they don't run across the landscape, they bound across the landscape. And they almost like arc up and down along, and it's just the most beautiful thing to just watch across the horizon. A family of deer just go boom, boom, boom. It's great. I do miss the Forest of Dean though. I do miss the boar. I love them guys, the wild boar, and I really do miss them. The forest isn't the same without them. It's a bit empty, it's a bit dead. I've come to the real forest, the big forest, because I wanted to dig a fire pit to actually show you people, you beautiful people, exactly what I'm talking about. Now this is a big fire, and I've only made this big this one time because I want you to be able to see me lit up in this dark, dark conifer forest. These trees here, these absolutely gigantic ones, are spruce. These ones here, these are cedar. They're all in the conifer family. They're all evergreen. They don't drop their leaves over winter. They just grow, grow, and grow, and grow. What you might want to do, which I did, is this little thing here, which is a ventilation hole. Now, every fire needs oxygen, and if you add a ventilation shaft by digging a hole next to your pit and then just digging a tunnel underneath to connect the two, there's no vegetation within about 2 meters, or a meter or two of the fire pit, and the fire pit is about a foot or two deep. And I'm very, very satisfied with that. So I'm going to cook a cup of tea over this thing, and thank you very much for watching.